Hey everyone, before we start the pod today, we recorded this a couple weeks ago, so there won't be any mention of everything that's going on right now. Just wanted to say, hope you're staying safe, and that we support the effort to bring justice for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and many, many more. There are links in the show notes to organizations that could use your help. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Chase.
It's that time again.
What time is it?
Time for
Fuck This Place!
What you were saying earlier about like the new type of where it goes from like, one night I'm like, oh my god, like what happened to stand up? What's gonna be with stand up? How long before I'm able to go back and work the clubs and stuff, you know? And then the next night it turns into just like, man, what about like money or whatever? And then by the end of the week I'm like, do I have a cavity? What's going on? Like,
Totally. That's so funny. I was just thinking that yesterday. I was like, man, of all the problems, why does my fucking tooth hurt?
yeah.
I've also had teeth fears.
I think that what happens is that like anxiety. I have a lot of experience with anxiety. I'm sure we all do here. You're comedians, and it just really does manifest itself in millions of ways. And like, I think if you're a type of person who minds their brain, like all comedians are, you think you have a pretty good handle on what's fucking with your head. But with anxiety, you really don't, man. It like it makes you shit weird. It does all this stupid stuff. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
Is this the podcast, by the way? Are we?
Yeah, we're on the
recording?
podcast now.
Yeah,
I
hell
should
yeah,
say- I
dude.
should
Why
intro
not?
us.
Just
Hi,
making
welcome, everybody. Welcome to Fuck This Place, the podcast about jobs with Chase and Nick. My name's Chase.
I'm Nick, and with us today is a fantastic comedian, Mr. Dave Ross. How are you?
Hello, I'm all right, man. Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me. How am I? I said I'm good. I was just telling you how bad I am. And I am. Yeah, dude, I am bad. It's funny, like, you know, generally when I'm bad and people say, how are you? I try to lie some, but I feel like I'm hanging in, but wow, dude, because it's a down week. I think if it were like a constant months of bad, I'd be like, I'm good. I'm okay. But what a fucked ass week, man. God damn.
I think it's also, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think it's also, here we are in this moment in time. People are talking a lot more, like there's a lot more kind of like frenetic conversation around the idea of reopening. And it's extremely clear to even a regular dumb shit that like no progress has been made in
More
the categories.
people are dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird, dude. It's like, the cases are still growing exponentially. What's funny is that it's like, at this point for me at least, it's not the protesters that stress me out. They are now, like at first, because they were being highlighted by the news, I was like, wow, this is an actual chunk of people.
Right.
But it's clearly such a minor
Correct.
percentage of people who are that fucking stupid that like, because it's not just being stupid. I shouldn't say that. It's stupidity combined with privilege. It's just all these people that clearly have never been told what to do.
Yeah.
I can't go to the beach. Shut
Like
the fuck up.
Like they literally never even had like a broken leg before, you know, where they just like can't do something.
I would
Robin
say
Tran. Do you guys know Robin Tran? She's been really,
no.
really funny. Her Instagram is so funny right now. And she has been like really railing on those people and made a really good point. That they like if these are not people that go to the beach.
Yeah.
They just want to go to the beach because you're not allowed to go to the beach. And it's totally true.
Yeah. I would say it's like this mix of people that are like that don't like being told what to do and also just have like this deep love of like Olive Garden or whatever that they found.
Dude.
This is where
Olive Garden people.
Like just like where they're like, I need an assault rifle to get back into Olive Garden, but god damn it, I'm getting back into Olive Garden.
Dude, that's so well said, man. Assault rifle people are Olive Garden people too. Why the fuck is that? Why do you like endless breadsticks and fucking bullets?
I think it's the endless part of it.
Yeah.
Right.
They
Totally.
love automatic
limits.
weapons and automatic bread.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, Dave, our first segment that we do on every podcast is actually a segment we like to call "Fuck This Place?" Question.
Great.
where we look at jobs and we decide whether we would apply for them or not. And
that's awesome.
we actually decided to look up some jobs in your neck of the woods. You're from like Greenwood Lake, New York, upstate.
Yeah, dude. Did I tell you that, or did you
Yeah,
find
yeah,
that
you
out
told me a long
somewhere?
time ago.
Okay,
Nick is
thank
real
Christ.
sneaky
that.
about the ask, I think.
Man, I was gonna say, where is that written down?
Yeah. Yeah, Nick like sneaks it into like just like, oh well, by the way, like where are you from again? You know, and then we fucking get you.
No, dude, I rep where I'm from hard, but I ain't no famous person, so I was just surprised.
Right,
That's
right.
cool. Yeah, let's talk about jobs.
Do you
in
have
Greenwood
family
Lake. I
still
would
there?
love to know. No, I don't. I don't even have friends there. The place is fucking horrifying. Everyone leaves, dude.
Yeah.
It's truly like, I mean, and it's even all the ways that people would shit on it are not the ways that I would. Like, you know, it's one stoplight, no grocery store, very poor, fucking, you know, basic, like backwoods Jersey, Southern New York. And yeah, that's all scary and fucked up. But it's like the reason you leave is that it's like somehow Republican in New York and it's racist. It's just weird, dude.
It's like the South in New York a little
Yes, absolutely. Well, anywhere that's you go 30 minutes outside of any city and it's fucking Mississippi.
Yeah.
And by the way,
true.
not to talk shit about Mississippi, that's a little unfair. There's some places in Mississippi that are so much cooler than where I'm from.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, dude.
Hattiesburg?
Hattiesburg rips, dude. I love that place.
So, you know, they exist. You're absolutely right. So it's kind of a Hudson Valley Craigslist situation.
yeah.
So what I'm going to do is read 3 job titles, and then you're going to decide the one you don't want to look at, and we'll look at the other 2.
By the way, can I say fuck you guys for doing this podcast in the era of unemployment?
Absolutely.
Massive, widespread, no one has a job.
Well, if it's any consolation, these aren't good jobs to get.
Sure.
Typically, you know, even pre-pandemic, we would not always find the best and brightest on Craigslist. But now,
we were honestly trying to kill jobs before it was cool to kill jobs. So.
Well, and I appreciate that. Thank you guys.
Mhm.
Yeah.
doing the Lord's work. So there's a certain
Coronavirus.
desperation to this whole thing, but
Yeah.
you know, at least it's not a podcast about, I don't know, antibody testing.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so I'm gonna read 3, and you pick the one you do not want to look at.
Great.
So, posting number 1, the title is "Cheese Making, Artisan." Title number 2, "Need Gym Spotter,"
Whoa.
and title number 3 in all caps is "Need 2 people with wheelbarrows to move a truckload of wood chips."
Man, you know what's funny is that last one is the one I don't want to hear.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I can tell you what it is.
Uh-huh.
It's that one's fine. That seems normal. That's like just someone who doesn't really understand what a job is asking for help.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do like that they're asking for 2, but you know, we're gonna leave them, so we'll fuck that place.
That's also like, that might be one of my friends.
You could be. So I'm gonna share my desktop here.
Hell yeah, dude.
I assume you all. That's 2 people.
Oh yeah, dude. I didn't even know that neighborhood. Nice.
Oh yeah. Get the fuck out of here. All right, let's go. Let's take a look at cheese making, artisan in Long Valley. There's a lot of dairy in upstate New York, right? It's a rural situation.
You know, yes, it's rural. I didn't know anyone who owned a dairy and I never went to a dairy, but I believe it.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. They exist. So cheese making, artisan, and then there's like a picture that we see here right away.
A bunch of sheep.
Bunch of sheep, and then like a little logo. It says Valley Shepherd Creamery. Honestly, like I believe these people make cheese. I guess.
Totally.
Then it says
Sheep
time.
cheese.
Exactly, sheep cheese, which honestly did not know was a cheese. That was more of a goat thing, but I will accept sheep
Same.
cheese.
Ew.
Then it says time to change careers or grow as a cheesemaker with the best in the region.
Wow.
All right. Then
I
it
like
says
that.
Crazy.
I like that
What?
immediately it's assuming that whatever I'm doing, I need to just shut the fuck up, stop, and start making this cheese.
yeah,
Time to change careers.
Yeah.
It's time.
This line is talking to me the way my parents talked to me when I said I wanted to play guitar forever.
Totally. Oh yeah. I think it's time you fucking change careers, you idiot. Though I will say, if you clicked on this link, it might be time to change careers and grow as a cheesemaker.
I mean, now is the time to change careers in general. But I do find it interesting that they think that like cheesemaker is obtainable. I personally think that I could switch careers like that and go into cheesemaking.
I wouldn't
okay.
even. My cousin, my cousin's wife, but she's my cousin. You know.
Sure. Yeah.
She is really into cheese making, and I recently was hanging out with her, and I was like, if you could do whatever you wanted, what would you do? And she was like, oh my God, I'd move to Vermont and make cheese. And I was like, what? And I had no idea it was like a thing you could do. So I have a newfound respect for the idea of being a cheesemaker after that.
Oh, no. I mean, and people pay a lot of money for good cheese, I'm told.
It's true. It's true. It's just very funny. I think if I had been doing this podcast 1 month ago, I would have been like, everyone who read this is a fucking moron. I don't know, dude.
Yeah. No, everything sounds extremely reasonable.
Yeah. Totally.
I mean, like, maybe this time. Okay. So Valley Shepherd Creamery is working in a dairy farm, milking hundreds of animals.
Oh my God.
And making many types of cheese and yogurt in Long Valley, New Jersey.
Wow. Okay.
Look, I understand that it's probably sheep. But the fact that you're saying hundreds of animals makes me think there's a hidden animal that you should not be milking.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. It seems like there's an ostrich or a fucking dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. But I'm still confused. Like, is it common to make cheese out of sheep's milk? Like, is sheep's milk a thing?
It's got to be. I mean, again, we have a photo of so many sheep grazing in a very bucolic, enjoyable scene, and I would say their logo is a sheep. So
totally, I'm gonna Google right now. That's really bizarre to me.
We can Google it right here. I mean, sheep
milk cheese is a list of sheep milk cheeses. Wow. Huh. Yeah. Okay.
Whoa.
There's a lot of cheeses here on this list. Some of them have many special characters.
Feta is a sheep cheese?
No.
That's what it's. Feta's on the list. Manchego? What? Dude, this is blowing my fucking mind right now, dude.
Yeah, we're learning about sheep. Maybe it is time.
It says feta's on there.
Say, if they're doing this many cheeses, they probably do need help.
Wow, dude. Feta is a brined curd white cheese made in Greece from sheep milk. Or a mixture of sheep and goat milk.
Okay, so I always thought we were in goat territory.
Crazy. Okay.
It only took us like 30-something podcasts to get into where does cheese come from. So
where is cheese?
Where does cheese come from is a podcast I would listen to. For sure.
Especially now. Why not? Again, time to change careers.
And yeah, you got to get specific. There's got to be some cheese nerds out there. For example, my cousin.
Oh, there's definitely cheese nerds for
He's
sure.
Gonna be on top. Yeah, for sure.
So they're doing this in New Jersey. They're kind of bait and switching you here with the Hudson Valley situation, but that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, my town is right on the Jersey border, and so I never would have thought about it, but I guess, yes, that is technically in the Hudson River Valley.
Right. Okay, good point. Now we're learning geography.
Yeah, it's funny that we're talking about this, man. If you're listening, you can't see this photo is beautiful.
And by the way,
I love it because it's a very beautiful part of the world. There's mountains and lakes, and it's crazy.
And by the way, this is on YouTube now, so you can check it out there. By the way, we'll put those links. Those links are, they're everywhere, but they're in the show notes too.
Well, God damn it! I'm glad I didn't shave and wore my own merch.
Yeah, it's the quarantine, bro.
Hell yeah, dude.
Everything's fine.
Okay, Valley. Damn. All right.
I like.
You're gonna Google that.
I'm scooching down just a little bit just because it caught my ait, but just under qualifications it says.
Well, hey, hold on.
Yes,
just hold on. Hold on.
We'll
press on. Too. We're gonna get there. That's an important point. Okay, find our products regionally at retailers such as Wegmans and WFM and many farm markets in New Jersey and New York City. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh,
We're seeking a
this job sounds tight, dude.
This seems like maybe it is time.
You're outside. You get free cheese. You get to milk
you've
dogs.
got to get so much cheese.
Yeah.
From this.
You get to jerk off sheep. It's fucking sick, dude.
Well, animals. Hundreds of animals.
Hundreds.
It's sheep and one weird animal is what I think the word.
Yeah.
And Bill.
Here's the weird animal.
It's 99 sheep and Bill.
Yeah.
My husband.
It says we're seeking a full-time individual to participate in farm cheesemaking. Previous cheesemaking would be great. I agree.
Uh-huh.
But other artisan producers should apply. So I think they are kind of hoping that you've done something artisanal.
Yeah.
And
I
they
can't
say,
believe the Hudson Valley has its own fucking Craigslist. This is just mind blowing to me, dude.
we're learning a lot.
Most of the people I think half of my friends don't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah. They're just doing those AOL CDs, like those 60-day free trials over and over again.
Dude, like one of my oldest friends, I hit him up when I did Corden last year. And I never remember to tell my friends shit like that. And so it was like midnight, the night that it was coming out. And he just sent me a photo of a parking lot. And he was like, sorry, bro, can't make it. Painting the lines in a parking lot right now. And he got a new gig painting the fucking parking lot lines in a Walmart.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you show me that pile of wood chips, I was like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I know this.
People. Yeah.
He was like, sorry, but I can't make it. I got to see how far I can throw this rock.
Yeah, dude. These are people that are plugged into the world, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can't believe artisan cheese making. I don't fucking think so. I think that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's see.
Well, I mean, I think that we all know there's at least a couple different tiers to society in general, and I think that these people are probably making. The truth is, they say they have farm markets in New Jersey or whatever, but it's for New York City and like Jersey adjacent.
Yeah, this doesn't read like totally.
Like they've got a cranberry infused, feta goat blend that sells for $16 at expensive places or just like the Brooklyn farmers market. There's only one. Then it says check us out at this website, valueshepherd.com, and then we get into qualifications. First one, can lift a 50-pound wheel of cheese and participate in the rigorous activity of cheese making.
That sentence is awesome.
Yeah, that's a really good sentence.
It's a good ass. Like, what's funny is that it's true.
Yes.
That actually is what it takes,
Uh-huh.
and that they wrote it that way.
Yeah.
I like the implication that there is nothing on this farm that weighs 50 pounds except for that wheel of cheese.
And you have to be able to participate in the rigorous. What's crazy is I can do this job, and I want to, and I really mean it, dude.
Yeah.
My buddy sent me that photo of him painting a parking lot. I love shit like that. His day job is that he runs a paving business with his brother.
Right.
I do stand up and that shit's tight, but fuck, dude, I really miss shoveling, wood chips out,
Yeah, knowing when the work is complete because the lines are painted.
And then you're sweating and tired and you have a tan. It's fucking awesome.
And it's obvious that cheese making is very rigorous.
Yeah, I guess it's do they? I guess they're not going to describe what is rigorous about it. But churning is butter. What does it take to make cheese? You just
the way they're so ambiguous, they're so vague. It makes me feel like, is there a cheese monster I have to fight?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
The cheese
I could chase it.
What are you talking about?
mean,
There's a lot of chasing sheep is what it is for miles. You got.
I was going to say, I think that's the animals that is probably your biggest chaos factor. If you're just milking sheep all day, that sounds pretty rigorous to me. Hundreds of animals.
I guess it is. Yeah.
All those sheep and that one man that they make you milk, I guess, or whatever.
Also, why are the wheels of cheese 50 pounds? You think
it seems like they could make that lighter. You know what I mean? Do a 35
whatever size you want.
He attaches it to his car, his wooden car that he drives around.
Have you ever seen?
Yeah.
Wheel car.
First, you have to build the wooden buildings in which we milk the sheep after we have chased them.
Have you guys ever seen
on a cheese helicopter?
It's the only way we can get him out of here safely. Have you all seen Chef's Table on Netflix? The very first episode.
Man, I haven't.
The very first episode is this Italian restaurateur or whatever, and he's walking through a bunch of Parmesan cheese rolls, and they're fucking huge wheels of cheese. Wow. I wonder if you have to make them big, either for the economy of it or because of the the fermentation. I don't know. I'm spitballing, but I think that maybe they have to be that big.
Huh.
I've never seen an artisanal wheel of cheese. Well, but hold on a second. Why, if you go to the grocery store and there's a roll, it's not the same cheese, but a Gouda, it's handheld.
Yeah,
totally. Especially the ones that have the Oh man, cheesemakers listening are gonna hate me.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know the
Oh,
term,
they're
but
pissed.
the fucking crust, the
Cheese
like
skin, I
brie skin. There you go.
Mhm.
Yeah, a little brie wheel can be very tiny.
I
How's
think
that
it
happen?
might be the 50-pound ones because the skin has to be super thick. We're just guessing here.
Yeah.
The skin has to be super
Uh.
thick, and so they need a high volume inside. Otherwise, it's like, well, it's like it's only 10% skin instead of if it's smaller, it's like 50% skin.
This is for
Wow.
their military grade cheese for their
Wow.
cheese army that they're building.
Anyway, that sounds
I
like a
realize this
lot
would
of
be
cheese.
such a cheese podcast.
We're getting into it. And then the last, there's only
You need
two
a
other
driver's
qualifications.
license, dude.
Driver's license. You're driving cheese, buddy. You're definitely
I told you
driving
that cheese car, man. That cheese car.
Yeah, dude.
They neglect to say pilot's license, but then it says full-time availability. I mean,
Oh my god,
okay.
dude.
And then please email with resume and cover. And then the compensation says based on experience, housing on site available, and then
What the
employment type
fuck?
full-time.
I feel like we're 1 year away from a Waco situation with these people.
Mm-hmm.
Cheese Waco. That's
Yeah.
my TV show I'm pitching. Where the
Mhm.
fuck is Long Valley?
It's weird that like I for sure like this job might be fine, but I for sure don't want to live where I'm also making cheese all the time.
I was going to say that. Red flag.
There's like a little, it says there's a state game farm and there's a bed and breakfast. Like probably
Okay.
there's a little.
This is a New York
tourism-
enclave is what this is.
Yeah.
This,
Totally. People who go to the Hamptons and who go to the Poconos go to places like this
correct.
and they pay like $5,000 to like hunt people.
Mhm.
Uh,
And this time they're hunting a dairy farmer.
hunt a dairy farmer.
So yeah, I will say that even if I didn't know the like scariness of their deceit here, I would say housing on site is a red flag.
Yes.
Only because it's like they want to entrench you into their
Cheese culture.
into their cheese
Yeah.
culture. That's a pretty good pun.
Trying to
By the
drown
way.
you in cheese. I can fucking.
So
I
I'm
can
gonna
smell a
say
cheeseburger a mile
honestly,
away.
I think in a different world, different time, I would be desperate enough to consider this for sure. I don't think that they would consider me, but I
Yeah.
would. So like I can't say all the way. Fuck this place.
Dude, I was 1,000,000% in. Like, if it were nearby, 1,000,000% in. I'm not even fucking kidding you. I would do it until I found out that they wanted me to live on site.
Yeah.
And not only would I not live on site, it doesn't seem like you have to. But even
Yeah.
the fact that they offer that is like,
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking deal with these people. That's weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want me in your property? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yuck, dude.
Yeah, I'm out too. I mean, I'm this just not having this job drastically decreases the odds of being killed with a cheese cannon at some point. So that's why I'm out. I don't want to.
He
Oh,
wants
Yeah,
a
yeah,
cheese
you're a
can.
little
cheese
too
definitely.
cheese crazy to not kill you with cheese.
All right, great. Well then, let's take a look at number 2.
Also,
this
the
is
diarrhea, yikes.
the amount of sometimes it plugs you up. You never know what's gonna happen with
Yeah,
cheese.
either way, your poop is all over the place at that point. Changing your diet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
dude, that's
habanero in there. You're in big trouble.
Cheese
Okay.
farm shit factory.
So the next job post title is "Need Gym Spotter."
Need.
And before we do anything, let's just find out if these people are dirty fucking liars. No, I'd say this is definitely Hudson Valley. It's North Jersey, Hudson Valley.
It's like in Patterson.
That's what ish. Fair Lawn is what it says.
I actually think this is further south than
Our previous liars.
Yeah.
No, our
Totally.
previous liars were like over here.
Really?
Yeah, they're right here. Check it out.
Let's make sure.
They were like directly
Oh
east
yeah.
or west of New York.
Huh.
So anyway, these are less of a liar, although who knows what's going to happen next. Okay, so he says, I have been a heavy weightlifter for over 30 years. Good for you, man. Due to the virus, gyms have been closed, and I've had to resort to getting home gym equipment and having to work out at home. Yeah. So,
Yeah, okay.
Same.
Oh, crazy, dude. That happened?
Wow. I hope you're okay. Overall, I can manage fine. I really appreciate his updates so far. Like,
Well,
hey,
this is
listen,
like a
I've been
Jersey
weightlifting
thing.
for
This is a
while.
dude being like, yeah, but I'm not gay, okay? Like, I need a spotter.
Yeah.
I can lift them, okay? I'm not a fucking bitch. I just need you to know if you're going to come over and spot that, like, I'm fucking cool, dude. And
Yeah.
I, like, have a red car and I can run fast and I fuck girls, dude.
And I love Monster Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, I can manage fine, but a couple of exercises, it would be much easier and safer to have someone help me. He's right. And I want to say excellent use of a semicolon here. Then he says, especially, not
Especially.
especially,
Wow.
especially with shoulder pressing heavy dumbbells. I really appreciate the specificity.
I mean,
I would need
yeah.
some. Good.
No, that's. It sounds difficult. Is all I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I would need someone to hand them to me and take them back and put them down gently on the floor. Put them down gently on the floor.
So I would need someone who is strong enough to lift at least 80-pound dumbbells.
Yeah. So I would need someone strong enough to lift at least 80-pound dumbbells.
You know what's so funny is this is very close to where my friend James lives.
Uh-huh.
My friend James lives in Bloomfield, and he's a personal trainer. I wonder if he needs money.
Yeah, I mean, this is hot leads here.
Wow.
And then he says overall training knowledge would be better. So hey, personal trainer pal, but not necessary, as I can instruct you what to do. Just need to be strong enough.
Wait, didn't he tell us what to do? Wasn't that full paragraph?
Yeah, dude.
I really appreciate that he said put him down gently on the floor.
Mhm.
Like this is not one of those throwing gyms, okay?
Yeah,
But this is my home. I would need someone to come to my house, which is in Fairlawn, New Jersey, Bergen County, 1 or 2 times a week for only about 15 minutes. Pretty much any time of the day is fine. I love that he would just drop anything and just like, yeah, we'll go do that one set. Just for my heavier sets. No need to stay for the whole workout.
Holy shit.
I just like that he's like already kicking you out.
This is like wild that this guy doesn't have a neighbor he can ask to do this.
Or a
someone
friend.
next door that can come over
Or a
second.
friend.
Just
One friend.
Well, I'll bet you that what happened is he's asked every person he knows, and they're all like, no, dude, we are quarantining.
Yeah. We're quarantined outside of the epicenter of coronavirus in arguably the world.
No, you're right.
And
By the
we
way,
would
this
like to
is
not touch
definitely
you.
in the Hudson Valley. This is pretty close to where I grew up.
Okay, good.
I have a lot of friends who live around here. Funny. Yeah, but it's definitely very Jersey of this guy to be like, gyms are fucking closed, so just come over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he says, I can offer $15 cash per workout. Again, only 15 minutes is needed. As an alternate, I spent $6,000 on the home gym. So if someone is into working out, I see. So if someone is into working out and needs somewhere to work out, can do so here, and we can barter services. Let you work out for free, and you can spot me. That was a tough sentence to get through.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, I love
What are
the
you talking
idea
about,
that someone
Jeff?
would come over and not want to work out.
Yeah, like well, I really just want to hold 2 80-pound double. 80 pounds is,
$15,
you know.
dude.
Oh yeah, and then I should say that I should finish the ad. It says, "Thank you, Jeff."
Yeah, come on, Jeff.
Hell
What are you
yeah,
talking
Jeff.
about?
I like to brag that he spent $6,000 on this
Dude.
gym, and he's only going to pay you 15.
Dude, I mean, I gotta say, I'm 100% out with this guy who's gonna fucking give me COVID-19
Yeah. Yes, yeah, for sure.
and who's like such a fucking dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, this guy's
a fucking
This guy, like,
Firebird.
he definitely has coronavirus, and he's like a parent, like you see him and he's like sweating and can't talk, and he's like barely able to stand, and he's just like, no, I'm fine. I'm
I'm fucking good, dude. I'm fine.
Shut up.
Just
You
doing my
have
sets.
You have it.
Yeah, dude. I'm just fucking. Yo, when we're done lifting, do you want to jump on Reddit with me?
Yeah.
I do 2 things: fucking sweat and be mean to women on Reddit.
He's like, yeah, if you want something to do, I got all the Fast and the Furious DVDs inside. If you want to check those out.
Have you heard of
man.
CKY?
I just kind of think like if you're willing to spend $6,000 on a home gym, like can't you get a machine that is a decent facsimile to lifting 80-pound dumbbells? Like I understand machine, fucking I know free weights are where it's at, but like get a Bowflex, bro.
Yeah, it's funny to spend $6,000 on a home gym when like, I mean, I don't know. Well, fuck it, dude. I don't know. That's whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's
actually,
so much money.
It's so much money.
But
I was
so
gonna say
much
like
money.
this is temporary. As much as it seems like it's going to be a while, it's temporary.
Sure.
To spend $6,000 seems fucking insane. But who knows, dude? I don't know.
But gains, dude.
I also just think it's like weird that it's like, yeah, I need help lifting these 80-pound dumbbells. It's like, why don't you just lift 60-pound dumbbells more times until you can lift 80-pound dumbbells?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, why are you taking out an ad on Craigslist?
Yeah. Also, how fucking swole are you trying to get in quarantine? Who is this for, dude?
Yeah.
80-pound dumbbells. You know who it's for?
Gains.
It's for your spotter. You're paying $15 to do this. That's the only person who's going to see you. Yeah, it's for gains, dude. It's for your fucking Instagram account.
Yeah. And your spotter's going to be the only person who sees you. And he's also going to be like, yeah, he needed my help. Like, it's like, you're not even that like impressive about it.
Yeah, totally, dude. Man,
So
it's
yeah,
freakish
fuck this
how
place.
bad he wants to do it. Yeah, fuck this. Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing it.
Also, I just realized the first sentence of it was, I have been a weightlifter for over 30 years. That was the first thing Jeff said.
Mhm.
I have
For
been
sure.
a
He could be
weightlifter
60 years old.
He better be. I mean, if he's younger than 45, then he's been a weightlifter since he was 9, you know?
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
guys?
What's
Nick
up,
and Chase
everybody?
here. Nick,
Wanted to remind you that you can text.
give us a shout, guys.
You
Let
can give us
know
a shout in a voicemail or text.
at 470 bad jobs.
You like while you're listening to this.
Yeah,
you can
right
be
now.
like, I'm listening to your fucking bumper ad.
Yeah.
For your own podcast.
You're at work right now. Your boss is yelling at you. And you know what? Because you're listening to this podcast, fuck your boss.
Yeah, for sure. Just start texting right
Yeah,
then.
right now. Pull out your phone right now in front of your boss right now. Fuck him. Fuck him.
Yeah, just do
You
it.
look him right in the eyes. You text 470 bad jobs.
And you say, I'm texting a podcast called Fuck This Place. You know who I'm
And
talking
he's going to be like, oh, no.
And you know who I'm texting about?
Yeah. Please, not me.
Or he'll be like, I'm such a fan.
Yeah.
That could happen. We managers are welcome to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, I don't think they'll like it, but yeah.
I don't think they're going to like it, but what if you're not a bad manager?
Uh-huh. Well, then I never met you.
Yeah, but either way. Yeah, so, you can text or again, leave a voicemail.
470 bad jobs, guys. Again, 470 bad jobs.
That's the way it is. So thank you so much. And back to the show?
Back to the show.
Dave Ross, what is the first job you ever had?
Oh, man. My first job was Burger King in Warwick, New York.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I was 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
15, maybe 16. No, I was 16. And I was just like, a fuck. I don't even know what you call the job at Burger King. I was just like a shit. I was just like a piece of shit at Burger King.
Were you at the counter?
They don't like,
It's
I don't
just
think
like
there's
on
a
the
title. Yeah. They're like, mop that and fuck you, Like, I remember my boss was like so funny. He was so much fun. And we were talking one day. He was just as like there's a lot of people in that part of the world that are super short and super fucking jacked.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of short people anger in that part of the world. And they're really, like I said, I really miss that part of the world because everyone's so funny. They're so pissed off and it's so funny all the time. Just so fucking angry, dude. Just, what the fuck is this? Just screaming. And it's like, what I don't know, dude. I leaned the mop against the wall. I'm sorry. I guess I'll put it in the back. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, there was this like dude who was my boss. He was like assistant manager or whatever, and he was a lot of fun. And he was just like one of those guys, real pissy. And one day, a bunch of cops came in, and they all knew him. And he was all like joking around with them and stuff. And I was like, oh, did you used to be a cop or something? And he was like, nah, man, I used to rob houses. and I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, dude, the cops come in here just to fucking check in on me. Make sure I still have my job here. I'm not out doing that. And I was like, oh, okay, nice. I'm 16. I love
That's
MXPX.
such a great. I love that. I don't know. I feel like a lot of times there's a narrative for like parents of like responsibility. If you get a job, like you're going to learn a bunch of stuff. But most of the time, if you're getting, the jobs that 16-year-olds get, like you're working with not good examples of people.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yes and no. Not good examples of like what your parents would want, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But it's a pretty good success story for him, I would aspire for my kid, if my kid were to rob houses, if he would convert to someone who was a nice manager at a Burger King.
Yeah.
But no, you're not wrong. Totally. My parents wanted me to be a fucking doctor or whatever. They didn't want me to find out about cocaine at the Burger King.
Yeah. I was just about to say where I found about cocaine was in the kitchen.
Totally. Oh, I found out that was when I started to learn, was at that Burger King. It was the first life lesson. I say all the time, dude, it bothers me. Now that I'm in my 30s, knowing what I know about life, what I learned in high school is so fucking annoying. The classes in high school should have been, what is money? Why am I so mad? And how to talk. And those should be, just different iterations of those classes. What are drugs? Why do people take them? I remember being in DARE. Did you guys have to take DARE?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I remember being in DARE class, and the day where they taught us about illicit drugs was like one of the early days. And some kid just raised his hand and was like, why do people do heroin? And the cop's answer was, well, it feels really good. And he just gave all these scientific answers about like dopamine and shit like that. And every kid in the class was like, wow, cool.
Yeah, why shouldn't I do heroin?
Yeah, no, that place was funny, man. I didn't know anything about having a job or working, and it obviously sucked, dude. It sucked ass. And I was 16, and they made me like, get there at 5 and open with the girl who opened and like mop up and shit. And I didn't know how it worked. My first day, I just took a burger off the line because I was just used to going into Burger King and getting food, and I would see behind the counter they have the sliding, the thing they slide the burgers down on, and they just sort of sit there.
Yeah.
So I thought that, the burger ramp, and they're divided into the kinds of burgers. I thought that they just make those burgers all day, right? They I didn't know that they were made to order, which is funny to even think that. And so on my first lunch break, I literally just grabbed one off the thing. I thought that they were, was so stupid. I mean, honestly, that's a real white kid thing to do. Quite frankly, that's a real suburban white kid. These are for me, obviously. And so everything.
Did they yell at you, or did they notice?
The first thing that happened was that I noticed them all looking at me and whispering and talking shit.
Yeah.
But and then the manager pulled me aside and he was like, "Hey, Dave, did you take a burger off the thing?" And I was like, "Yes." and he was like, "Why?" And I was like, "I thought I can." And he was like, "All right, well, you can't." And don't fucking steal food. You're gonna have to pay for that. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll pay for it."
Your boss was like, "Look, Dave, I get it. I used to rob houses, but you can't take the burgers, man.
Sometimes
you don't want to take the burgers." Yeah. I mean, it was totally honest. I was like, "Yeah, I wanted it, and so I ate it." And yeah, there probably was like a sick respect. He was like, "Wow, man, I understand this kid." Yeah, dude, that guy was so fucking funny. He knew everybody. He was loud. Those guys who were like, I've never been that confident in that. Yes. There's a specific, I feel like I'm a pretty nice person. I feel like I'm pretty gregarious. Mm-hmm. There's a specific type of, and I associate it specifically with Jersey and Southern New York, because there's a very specific person from that type of the world that's bombastic and loud. And they're like, they could go the bully way. So I had I think mostly those guys are bullies, where they call you gay for any reason.
Yeah.
And they want to fight anyone, and they're very hateful or whatever. But then sometimes those guys take this direction where they're fucking everyone's friend, Yeah. And they just walk into a room and they're like, "What's up? Hey!" And that's what this dude was like. But they all knew him as someone who robbed houses.
Yeah.
So I can only assume that 2 years before I knew him, he was a massive piece of shit who hit his kids,
Yeah, absolutely. How did you get the job?
Man, it's pretty easy to get a job at Burger King. You just walk in and you're just like, "Hey," and then,
they're like, "You're already working here."
Yeah. I was so bad at it too, dude. It was crazy.
Did you have why'd you walk in? Why'd you did your parents say get a job? Or were you like, fuck, I need some cash, or like what?
My parents told me to get. My parents like I wanted to get a job for a while. My parents were very like they wouldn't let me get a job until I was a senior. So I could focus on school or whatever. And so when I was a senior, I was like, I get a job. I didn't know what to do. So I just was like, fucking fast food makes sense. And so I just went to Burger King and they were like, sure. That was basically what happened. I sucked at it, dude. One time I was mostly making the food. One time I made a chicken sandwich with no chicken in it.
Okay.
Everything else, bun, lettuce, mayo. And I got it like, hey, Dave, do you see anything wrong with this sandwich? That speech.
Wait, and I was saying you were like, not a damn thing.
Yeah,
like
it's perfect,
super confident.
Dude. Yeah.
Nailed it.
It's good. Yeah. I also fancied myself a punk back then. I was a punk kid. I had like, most of the time I worked there, I had bright red dyed hair. And there weren't a lot of punk kids in my high school, but there were I lived in Greenwood Lake, New York. Warwick was the neighboring town. We didn't have anything in my hometown. And there were a bunch of punks who lived in Warwick who I just knew sort of from going to shows. And I had this day I'll always remember. I was salutatorian. I came in second in my class. And so they put me on the front of the local paper, which is, like a shithead paper that two people read. But it was like, congratulations. It was like putting a sign on my back. It was the worst thing that ever happened to me, dude.
For sure.
And so I'm like on the paper is like local nerd wins blue ribbon.
Check out this dipshit.
Everybody gather around and punch the nerd. So I was working at Burger King the day it came out, and all these punk kids from Warwick came in and were just yelling, "Yo, salutatorian, make me a fucking Whopper, you piece of shit!" It was very funny. I really romanticize. It's funny because while I was there, I hated it. Sure. And I hated the aggression and the tough guyness. I really did. I felt oppressed by it. I felt kicked around, but I haven't been there in 20 years. I really romanticize it. I'm like, God, I miss those guys calling me gay.
Well, hold on a second. What happened to that chicken sandwich? You didn't have chicken in it when they were just like, there's no fucking chicken. Give me some chicken. You just gave them chicken or what?
I mean, I think I made a new sandwich.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
I think they probably took it out of my pay too or something. I don't know. The pay structure at Burger King is pretty limited.
Yeah, this is going to take off like 10 BK kids points or whatever.
There was a learning disabled dude who was like probably 25 who worked there, who was he was high functioning, but he was on the severely learning disabled end of high functioning, if that makes sense. Sure. I don't know what he had, but he was like, he had like a little bit of a drawl as a result of it. And he was definitely like, didn't process information that fast. So I would be like, it was noticeable is my point. Yeah. And, but he was a lot of fun to work with because he loved Burger King so much.
Hell yes.
Dude, I kid you not, man. Like he would come into work and he would just like, I'm not fucking around at all. He would like hang his apron up and be like, he'd lean over and be like, "Hey Dave, did you hear they're bringing back the Whopper Jr.?"
Hell yeah.
I'd be like, "No, dude, I didn't." And he would be like, "Oh, dude, I'm fucking ready, man." Oh my God.
Like a menu of what?
He was
maximum
so
25 items.
And he was into all of it. He would be like, "Oh my God, I get to fill the fryer today." And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, dude. I don't like doing work."
That's the kind of enthusiasm you want behind the line at a Burger King.
Truly, I shouldn't have been there, and three of them should have.
One other question, like you said that everybody hated you after the newspaper thing, but did you ever like run into other like people you knew at that Burger King, or was it because it was in that like slightly other town you didn't run into like other high schools? Because like I think it's one like fear I think that high schoolers have when they work somewhere is like running into people they know, or
that was
like
probably
cool
why. Actually, I don't remember having that thought consciously, but that definitely was one of the reasons why I worked at that Burger King, because I wasn't gonna see, because like Warwick was very close. It was one of the places you would go for stuff, but and people had family there and stuff. But if you're going from Greenwood Lake to Warwick, it's probably not to go to Burger King.
Yeah.
There's like pizza places and shit. There was actually a pizza place in Warwick that sold Coke and weed. And we found that out while I was in college, and we would buy weed from it. Because our friend worked there and he sold weed. And then he would there was a way that they would do it where you would I don't even remember the wording, and I'm not kidding. This sounds made up. I know it does, but I guess we would probably, if I'm being honest, probably what would happen is we would call Travis. And no, I remember there being some way to say it. There would be some way to say it where you would get a bag of weed with your pizza, and it was just a really expensive pizza.
Yeah. That'll be $50.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. For what, a small pepperoni?
Yeah.
Damn. That arugula pizza, please.
Well,
right, totally.
Well, how did you leave the job?
I think I worked there. Yeah, I worked there up until because I got it late. I think I got it second semester, second half of senior year. I might have even gotten it the summer after senior year. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure I worked there up until I moved to LA for college.
Right.
Yeah,
you were just I get to go. So,
it's not really easy to get fired from Burger King.
Did anybody get fired while you were there?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, our boss robbed houses.
Right.
Yeah.
When you left for school, was your Burger King enthusiast friend oh man, Dave, there's so many Burger Kings out in LA, man. It's so cool out there,
dude. You got to write me, man. Fuck, dude. Let me know how the Burger Kings are out there.
Tell me if the menu's different.
Oh man, I wish I could have seen the look on that guy's face when they brought the Impossible Burger. Truly, I guarantee you, he was okay, I guess. I mean, look. If Burger King's doing it, maybe it's good. I used to hate vegans, but look, Burger King changed my mind.
He's just ignorant articles about space travel and stuff but did you hear the Impossible Burger? The Impossible Burger is coming back.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, I'll bet you he still works there. I hope he's the assistant manager.
I hope he does.
Yeah. Why did I hope assistant for him? I hope he owns it. Look, man, it takes a long time to raise the ranks. I guess what I want is for him to be assistant manager and for that dude who robbed houses to be the manager. I want him to run that fucking Burger King now.
Yeah. Let's just hope they're both not dead at this point.
Let's hope. Let's fucking hope. Yeah.
Someone who robs houses and another person that loves Burger King for a long time.
I guess probably best case scenario is that they still are at that Burger King. Yeah.
Not a lot of life expectancy in those two distinct paths.
Yeah, no shit. If only because of the amount of fucking Burger King that they eat.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. Live to a combined age of 56.
Totally, dude. Man, that's so funny. You just run not to get too whimsical, but you run across so many people in your life. I haven't thought about those guys.
Of course.
Truly in decades. Where are they? I mean, at some point, that dude definitely fell off the wagon and robbed a house.
Yeah,
I want to hope he definitely. I would like to hope that it was only one, and he was oh man, I gotta get better again,
Yeah.
But I don't know. In that part of the world, I feel like it was probably a bunch of houses.
Okay, Dave. So that was your first job ever. What would you say all time is your worst job ever?
Yeah, I thought about this for the show, and that's interesting. I Burger King was honestly I was being nice. I try to be positive. It was pretty fucking shitty, man.
Yeah.
I hated it so goddamn much. I'll see if I can do both of these quickly. I know what my worst job is. One of my best jobs had one of the worst things by far I've ever seen a boss do. In a way that was so immoral. I couldn't believe it.
All right.
I worked for this startup as a web developer called MyShape, where they did layoffs by having should I just tell this story? I'll just tell
I think we're going to do it. Yeah, here we are.
My worst job ever was at a, I'll do that really quickly, was at a startup called Mahalo, run by this guy, Jason Calacanis, who started Weblogs Inc., which was like the first big blog engine, and he got famous in Silicon Valley for that. And he was an early investor in Uber, and so he's like known in that world. And he's a bad fucking person, and he manipulated and like emotionally abused all of us. And it was just like literally Mahalo was a people-powered search engine. That's what it was called. And so it was literally, they got venture capital funding, rounds and rounds of it because of his clout in Silicon Valley, to hire 50 recent college grads to literally individually write search results.
So
it's like if you went to Google and you search for something and what came up had been actually typed out by a person. The stupidest idea in the history of the internet. And it got millions upon millions upon millions of dollars of funding, and it of course wasn't working. So he just like, the culture in startup world, like it's like the way that a manual labor job can be bad is that it's not working and your boss is like, fuck you, you dipshit piece of shit, work harder, work harder. But startup culture is like this. They're like, we love you. There's a soda machine. There's an Xbox over there. Hang out. We're all friends. This is cool. Everybody gets free lunch every day, and that seems cool right away. But then you start to realize that the free lunch means that all lunch you have to talk about work. And they create this weird, obsessive culture that makes you feel bad for not doing the things they do. For example, working on the weekends. And so they were like tricking people into working on the weekend and working over their lunch and all this shit that I wouldn't do. And then they started having meetings with me where they were like, hey, you're really not a team player. And I was like, literally, I was like, I can be a real coward in life. I can. But when I get backed into a corner like this, turns out I react like I just puff up. And I literally remember being in the meeting and being like, do I have to come to the lunches? And then being we can't, obligate you to.
Like legally they can't say that.
Exactly. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go then. And then I was the only person who didn't work over the weekend, this one weekend where they demanded it. And then I was the first person in that company's history to get fired.
Right.
And then
I love that your two chaos situations are startups, because I feel like they are.
Oh, I hate them, dude.
So not talked about, but they're fucking garbage piles.
It's manipulative and it's shitty. And they just really do treat people like garbage, but under the auspices of treating them well, because there are all these creature comforts like like a comfortable chair, like a chair that costs $900. I thought about that all the time. I get paid $600 a week and my chair costs $1,000. Fuck you. Are you kidding? I remember that piece of shit, Jason, bought a Tesla. Back then they cost $150,000. The same week he fired 3 of my friends who made $50,000 a year. And the math on that is just fucked. I can't. Oh, I really hate him. And if I saw him, I wouldn't shake his hand. I wouldn't be able to hold back from being mean to him, which is pretty rare for me lately. To someone I don't see, to just be like, fuck you. I don't do that. My friend Melissa got fired from that place, and she found out because she got her last paycheck in the mail before they fired her.
Oh my God. And that's the thing. Every single one of the places is like a fucking nightmare factory. Like nobody knows what they're doing. Everyone, it's like basically there's one charismatic person up top who is a total piece of shit and got where they got by being an awful person who just muscle fucks their way through everything. And then they just expect literally everyone underneath them to do the exact same thing, which is impossible to replicate. Like you just can't fucking...
Well, and I realize now looking back that the way that they hire is they try to hire people who are ready to be manipulated. And that was one of the things that was driving me crazy about the job. That was very clear to me. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm an only child who moved a lot. Maybe it's because I'm just skeptical in that way, and that served me very well in that situation. Who knows? But it was weird because everyone I was surrounded with was very cool and nice and smart. And I really liked the people who worked there who were doing what I was doing. But they were they were like, no, it's cool. We get free lunch. And I was like, you work fucking 20 hours every weekend.
Yes.
What the fuck, man? Like, why are you doing that for them? And they're like, I don't know. I like it here.
Right.
They take us to NBA games. And
Right.
like,
Yes.
no, they're fucking trying to own you, dude.
Mhm.
Dude, one day, oh man, our big boss, Jason, stood on a chair a Friday and he said, hey, just so everybody knows, we had a little bit of a banking snafu. So you guys are going to be getting your check like a week or two late this time. And we just want to let you know that. And I right away was like,
oh my God.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah.
And everyone got weird, of
Yes.
course. I mean, that's pretty weird to do. Or at
No,
least
but also it's not weird to do,
but it's off-putting is what I mean.
It is off-putting, yes.
I was like, what? And he was like, is that a problem? And I was like, yeah, man, I have bills to pay right now. Like I was waiting for my paycheck.
Right.
And he was like, oh, okay, well, okay, for you, I guess we can figure it out. Does anyone else have this issue? And then like 7 people raised their hand.
Of course.
Yeah.
You get paid $600 a week, you dumbass.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't have my...
He was like, does anyone else? Okay, he's like, okay, cool, David. No, I understand. Hey, just quick head count. Does anyone else here have bills?
Yeah, totally.
Bills?
Well, that's the
Does anyone
problem. Is the
else
people
here-
up top in these companies are so fucking rich. They've never considered that that's a
Totally.
problem.
Totally.
Sorry, you were saying?
No, I don't even remember it. Totally.
Yeah, great.
Man, I'm like here. I'm getting fired up just thinking about. Yeah, I have
Well, hold on a second. How did you get this job?
It was a Craigslist post.
Hell yeah.
So the way my life went was I graduated college and then I got a job 6 hours a week at a radio station in Fresno. I was like trying to be a radio DJ.
Mhm.
The 6 hours a week was midnight to 6 on Thursdays. I worked really hard in that place. And I got up to a point where I was getting like a lot of hours and I was doing a lot of shit on the radio station. And then that all ended for partially because radio was failing and also partially because of what we're talking about. The like corporate bosses were shitheads.
Mhm.
And I moved back to LA and like when I was 24, I had tried stand up, but it gave me panic attacks and I cried after. And so I was too scared to do it.
Yeah.
So I started getting like before that during college, like in college, my jobs were like, I was a dishwasher and then I worked in a warehouse and shit like that. And I didn't want to do shit like that anymore. So I was like, oh yeah, I can get some bullshit corporate. I'll pretend I'm a graphic designer kind of jobs, you know?
Mhm.
So I worked for a documentary film company and that didn't last long. And I was like making bad logos for them. And then I was looking for a new job and I found this posting on Craigslist for like, don't need experience, but we're looking for college educated people to work in a startup environment. And I was like, perfect for me. $600 a week. That's more than I was just making. And I can live okay on that and blah, blah, blah. And so that's how I got it. Yeah. And then I got fired and I had been like faking being a web designer, like on the side. I had like done that enough where I could like get a lower level web design job for a company that needed simple shit.
Yeah.
And so I worked for a jewelry company in Tarzana being their web designer. I did that for a while. I got good at it. And then after that, I got a job at a startup, My Shape, as a web developer. And I remember it because maybe it was only 3 months in, maybe it was earlier on, because I'd been there long enough for there to be a round of layoffs.
Mhm.
Right when I got booked on my first like big show. You know that feeling when you're doing mics and you feel like you suck and you suck and you suck, and then you're starting to get a little good, and then you're starting to get good enough to do shows, and they're all shitty shows. And then
Yes.
we all have those shows in LA that we want to get booked on, and you get booked on your first good one. It's such a big fucking deal. Barbara Ray ran the show 1-2 Punch that was like at her house and was also a house party.
Uh-huh.
And back then, like there were less comedians in the East Side scene, and it was a manageable amount enough where like the big comics and industry would hang out with us. So like it was a huge deal. There was industry at the show, and I remember my set was I just screamed about this layoffs thing.
Yeah.
It was like my first deviating from material thing I ever did. I was so angry. I'll just tell you what happened. that place was actually really cool. The developers were really cool. I really thought that the owners were cool people. They seemed to like, they weren't trying to fuck with us. The culture wasn't abusive like that. They weren't trying to trick us or anything. It seemed like, yeah, the good parts of stand-up culture where, startup culture, where they just give you food or whatever.
Flexible and like not awful people.
And my project manager was so awesome. I thought it was cool. And then one day, My Shape, it was a bad idea for a company. They had this genius software that you would sign up for the website, and then they would mail you a measuring tape in the mail, and you would measure all these like specific measurements, and it would guide you through it. And then you would enter them into their system, and you could just shop for clothes that fit you exactly.
Right.
Because they had, which is cool. Except the problem was that the way they did it was that they only sold their own clothes that they had in their shop. So the technology would have been perfect if you could just use it to shop at Macy's or whatever.
Yeah.
But they were like old white ladies, not old, but white ladies. And their taste was like Lane Bryant and shit like that. And that was the only type of clothes they had. So like nobody used it except almost no one. And so the company was failing, and we were hearing whispers of that. Oh, and actually, oh my God, dude, I forget about this so much. Are you aware of the show on CBS, Scorpion? Do you know this show?
No.
Dude, look it up. So Scorpion is a show that's like about like a rogue hacker who like hacks the FBI and hacks the NSA, and then he ends up working for the NSA. It's like 24, but with hacking. So it's created by and based on the life of this dude whose name I'm forgetting, who they hired at My Shape to revamp their entire right when they were like really, really tanking. They hired this dude to like fucking fix their systems. And here's the thing. The dude is he's a fucking loser. He's like
Walter O'Brien is this person's name.
Yes, Walter, totally. He looks like the comic book guy from The Simpsons. He's like a ponytail, beer belly, pager on his
Just going to briefly share this screen here because I think this is important.
But like in the show... Yeah, that's him, dude. Dude, it's unbelievable. So I worked with this guy, and Scorpion hadn't been created yet, the show, and he was like, I'm a hacker, and I was like, oh, really? And I like really didn't give a shit at all. Yeah. And he took a liking to me. It was one of those things where, for whatever reason, he thought. He was like, oh, this kid's going to think I'm cool as shit. And he was like, oh, you're a comedian? And he would like put his arm around me and walk me around the room and be like, I'm going to show you a thing or two about code. Because I'm like a cool,
that seems like a real guy who puts
sexy coder who has a TV show. And he was like, I'm pitching it around to networks. And I was like, whatever, you fucking idiot. And if you watch the show, the star of the show is some like really fucking suave, sexy dude. And it's all about Walter. It's all based on him, quote unquote. But the dude, Walter definitely couldn't carry a wheel of cheese. And I used to believe he can run half a block. But this guy's like jumping over cars and shit and fucking doing jujitsu and whatever. So this guy's like a liar. And it was so weird because we were throughout the office talking about how he's a pathological liar. He was so obviously like, this guy can't code at all. He's made up his entire history. But his lies became a TV show, so fuck us, I guess. He like successfully is a pathological liar. But anyway, one day in the midst of all this failure, they call the whole company, which is like 80 or 90 employees. And I almost word for word remember every single thing the CEO and founder said. She gave us this massive PowerPoint, long PowerPoint. It's probably 30 minutes long, and it was positive. It was all about our numbers and how they're all going up. And we've like fixed it. We have a new round of VC funding. Everything's okay. And then she like shuts off the PowerPoint, lights come up, and she goes, and as a result of this new round of funding and all this rearranging we've been doing, we have all of these new positions open at My Shape. And I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And then she says, but unfortunately, all of the old positions have gone away. So then she goes, so some of you will be getting some of the new positions and some of you will not. And I'm just like sitting in my chair like, this is the funniest way to fire 50 people I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah.
What a fucking psychopath, dude. And so she's like, yeah, so after this meeting, if you could all go back to your desks, you will all have an envelope at your desk. And in that envelope is a letter that tells you whether or not you still have a job at My Shape.
Oh my fucking God.
I was
It's like Oprah.
joke about how she was going to say you go back to your desk and some of you will have a pistol underneath your desk.
Yes, dude.
That is
There will be
worse.
one bullet in it. You can use it on yourself or you can use it on me, but you have to use it by the end of the day. Dude.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so I am like fucking, like I told you, I like really don't react well to stuff like that. And I was just like, what the fuck? And then the last thing she said was, I'm like looking around at people, my skin's on fire. I'm like so mad. And and I'm like looking around at people, like trying to lock eyes with someone to be like, what the fuck, right? Like let's beat the shit out of these people. And no one's doing that. Everyone's like sort of like looking at the ground and freaking out, which I get. I mean, it's like, my reaction makes less sense. It's terrifying to lose your fucking job. And they're staring at the ground. And then the CEO goes, and there are cupcakes by the door on your way out. and I shit you not, like a ton of people took a cupcake. And I was like, don't take the cupcakes, man. Don't fucking take the cupcakes. Don't be the guy that takes the goddamn cupcake. On your deathbed, you're going to wish you didn't take the fucking cupcake. You're going to wish you could tell your grandkids that you were strong enough not to take a goddamn cupcake that fucking day.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I was so disappointed. And so it's like I get back to my desk and people are already crying in this big office space. And there's like their managers like consoling them or like walking them to the door and shit. It's just so fucking shitty. And I get to my desk. I open up well, first I have my envelope and my friend Ryan, I'm like, what's up with you? And Ryan, we're still close friends. He was like, oh, I got a job. And I was like, it said so. And he's like, I don't have to read it. I got a fucking job. And I was like, damn, that's a confident guy. And then one of the other developers had gotten fired. One hadn't. So I opened the letter up and it said I had a job and I sat down and I was like, yes, thank God. And I just kind of like started processing how crazy that was, and not a second went by, and then the CEO's executive assistant walked up to me. Yeah, this like 21-year-old girl walked up to me and said, "Dave, can we talk to you for a second in the CEO's office?" And I was like, "Sure, why?" And she was like, "We're so sorry, we gave you the wrong letter." And I was like, "Are you fucking with me right now?" And they're like, "Yeah." So I go in the CEO's office. I'm sitting across from her and she's like so upset. And she's like, "Dave, we're so sorry. This is embarrassing. This is really wrong of us. We can't believe we gave you the wrong letter. I don't even know what to say. This is so awful." And I'm just like, now I don't give a shit at all. I don't give a fuck. I'm not holding back at all. Yeah, what do I? And I was like, it's fucking okay. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Can you give me my fucking check, please? And she's like, whoa, why would we give you a check? That's what she said. And I was like, why would you give me a check? Because you fired me. Just give me my money, please. And she goes, what are you talking about, Dave? You still have a job. And I was like, my letter said I had a job. And she goes, oh my God, we gave you the right letter.
The fuck?
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. And so the one cool thing about that was like, now I was just like in her office and I was like, okay, so I have a job. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, you know that this is like really horrible what you just did, right? And I just started yelling at her. It was awesome. It felt so good. And she was like, I know, it's terrible. And I was like, the letter thing, it's not okay. It's not okay. And I was like, I got to say to this owner of this company, I was like, did you give people severance? Are people getting severance packages? And she was like, we couldn't afford it. And I was like, you couldn't afford it? Why didn't you fire us a month ago? And she was like, we were still hoping the company would work. And I was like, well, it didn't.
Yeah.
I will say that the one cool thing about that is like you never really get to yell at the person that you think is garbage. So I'm glad I got to do that. And then
How much longer did you work there after that?
I can't remember if I started looking for jobs or if I got laid off, but I was only there for another like 3 or 6 months.
Sure. Yeah. Time to figure it out.
You know what? It was after that they got Walter the Scorpion. And
okay.
And I think that the Scorpion kind of inspired me to get another job.
This place is built on lies. There's a Scorpion guy here.
It's funny, like every single thing I just told you, I told like thinking about it with like sort of fondly.
Yeah, of course.
But that's only because I'm happy with my work situation now.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You think about it fondly because you've made it to the other side.
Totally.
I always thought this about the podcast, not to be like overly romantic about it, but I kind of think that like all these stories of the comics we have that come on, these stories, because they're funny and we have funny people on, so you've always been funny. So it's like these were your first bits before you were a comic. These were the stories you told your friends that made them laugh. And I think it's fun to watch people go back and remember them and then instantly punch them up a little more and then like to watch their wheels turn in the way that they haven't in a long time about those old stories.
Yeah, totally, like to fuck people up.
Yeah, never really had the opportunity to like, man, Harris Whittles used to have this joke he did on stage about how he's like, man, I wish I were a comic in the 80s because I never got to make fun of that music. And and it's sort of the same thing. Like this stuff happened before I was a comic. It doesn't really make as much sense. It's just better if it's in the moment.
All right. Well, Dave, to close the pod, we always ask 3 questions. And this is for your worst job. So I guess we'll say that's shape.
My shape, sure.
My shape. One of them, I guess, is when were you done and how did you quit? We kind of know that one because. How did you quit? How did you quit My Shape? You got fired because you weren't going to lunches.
Oh, no, that was Mahalo.
Oh, excuse me.
That was the people-powered search engine. That was the job I hated the most.
Oh, right.
So why don't we just do that one? That's fine. Okay, I got fired from there, because I wouldn't stay for lunch.
Okay, great. So we know that one. Question number 2 for Mahalo. I really hate the name. I feel like I somehow missed that. I really, really hate the name.
It still exists, I believe, and it's different now. It's Mahalo, and the subtitle is Learn More.
Yeah, it's like a smaller company. It's like Mahalo Light.
Yeah, right. It was. Oh, it's gone now. Ha! Yeah. Fuck
news.
You. I win.
Also, then question number 2 is what's one good thing you took from that very bad job?
Oh, I still have friends from then. My friend Lon.
Good people.
I'm still in touch with. Yeah, good people. I mean, good people everywhere. Yeah, totally.
Okay, so then final question, not related to your worst job, is if you had to give up on your dreams right now, which, pandemic feels like we already have, but if you had to give up on your dreams right now, you need to pick up like a new dream or a new direction, what might that be?
I actually think about that all the time. I don't. Yeah, right now I think about it all the time. I miss nature so much. And even before quarantine, I have been thinking about it all the time because I'm in the part of comedy that is like the next type of hard where I'm like, it's my living barely.
Yes.
I really scrape by. It's very hard and I have no money and it's been that way for a minute and I can't tell if it'll ever become stable.
Yes.
And I have like some like attention I've had attention in the past and I'm not in a period of attention. So I don't know if there will be one again. I don't know if the industry will care again. And so I just don't know.
Yes.
And so I'm like, I don't know. I think about what the other thing, because you know what, like I love comedy and I will always do it for sure. But as a job, how long can you go on having zero money?
Before zero leverage.
Like, fuck it, this is a hobby and I'm a goddamn park ranger now,
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I don't exactly know, but something where I'm in the woods and there's no one else there. And a park ranger sounds cool, but I'll bet you that people work forever to be a park ranger.
You're correct.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Like all those government jobs, like I almost went in those tracks
you did?
for a little bit, and I know people that have gone in those directions, and it's like everyone holds on to those jobs.
So competitive.
Yeah.
Dude, it's the coolest job ever.
Yeah, and it's also super, stable and but very work-life balanced.
Sure.
So
Totally.
if you like fucking woods and rocks and shit, like it's a great direction to go. So yeah, something naturey, something outsidey.
Yeah. The real answer is actually probably web developer, because I still do that on the side sometimes, and I still
For
make
sure.
my own shit, so I know how, and I can
It's the
make
most
money right away.
sustainable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Well, great. Well, Dave, where can people find you on the internet if you'd like to be found?
Dave to the Ross is my handle on everything. DAVETOTHEROSS. DaveToTheRoss.com is my website. I'm at Dave to the Ross on Instagram and Twitter. I have 2 podcasts.
Oh, baby.
That are out. Yeah, they're both on my website. One is called Y'all Ever. It's like me and my friend being real stupid, but also talking about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is just pure stupidity, and it's a lot of sound effects. And it's called Get Stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I also just put out an EP, and all that's on my website.
And there'll be links to that in the show notes as well.
Oh, cool.
So if you want to check that out.
Awesome. Well, dude, thanks so much, Dave. This was awesome. This was great.
man.
This was so much fun. Fucking appreciate you guys having me, and good to see you.
Absolutely, dude. It was a pleasure.
Oh my
Fuck this
God.
place.
Fuck this place.
Fuck this place, dude.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to share the podcast and subscribe. You can also text us 470-BAD-JOBS. We're here. We're listening. Okay, that's it for now. Next week? Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, bye for now. Fuck this.